So welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Varun Patel and I am the CEO at Spokes Digital. Spokes Digital is the leading provider of digital marketing services for cannabis and hemp CBD industry. And we are working on this industry since the last 3 years, and we're dedicated for this industry. Today we are presenting topic emerging social media marketing platforms for cannabis hemp CBD industry, because we have seen from our experience that uh, social media has been the primary reason for the people to join the internet and to visit to the internet. So we thought that this topic is interesting because it would give us some kind of insight on how can we use this platform, a chase channel for growing our businesses. And we had been working on this for I think pretty long, and our clients have been benefiting from this. So we'll talk more about that. So we would love to hear from you. So if you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the question box in your Zoom control panel, and we can bring it up during the presentation. And we will also have time for questions at the end. A recorded version of the webinar will be available on this postal website. So now, without further ado, I will introduce Lauren Laplante, who is Chief Growth Officer of the company, and she will take over the presentation, and then I will take over the presentation in the middle. So thank you, everybody. Lauren, it's over to you now.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for taking time out of your day to be with us for this next hour. And if you've been with us for any other webinars, you know that we like to start out with a quote. So today we're going to be, as Varun said, talking about social media. So this quote is from Seth Godin. Marketing is no longer about the stuff that you make, but about the stories you tell. And how I read into that is it's all about how you make people feel. And people are going to remember how you make them feel even more so than what you said or what you did. It's the feeling that you give them. So that's the storytelling. And we also like to start out our webinars with some statistics. So here's the statistics for our social media today. Nearly 50% of the world's population uses social media. A couple other things I want to point out here is just looking at in 2019, 90% of millennials, almost 78% of Gen Xers, and 48% of baby boomers. And also down there it says a person spends an average of 2 hours and 22 minutes a day on social networks. So it's just, and I'm sure all of you who are participating here can understand and have experienced this yourself, right? The increase in social media, not only for yourself as a consumer, but also in the businesses that you work in. So now we're going to talk more about the trends that we see in social media from these last few years. So some of the platforms. So Facebook has been well known for quite some time. And you can see I'm looking over at the right here in 2018 and 2019. All of a sudden, YouTube came in, and that just exploded, even according to this graph, beyond the usage of Facebook. And then you'll also see here that Instagram has really picked up as well in recent years. Next slide. Now here's some information about the demographics, men and women, different age groups, ethnicities, education levels, and where people live. So you can see from this graph, let's just look at the Facebook. So Facebook has been very popular with all age groups. You'll see a little bit of a dip there with the 65 and over. And then Instagram in the middle there, you'll see that Instagram is very popular with the younger age group, 18 to 29. And then LinkedIn. A lot of times people don't think of LinkedIn as social media, but it definitely is. And the interesting uptick there, well, not so interesting as college graduates, because a lot of educated people in business use LinkedIn as social media. Another statistic here for in the US, the social media sites and how often people use them. So Facebook is obviously the most frequently used, and then Snapchat and YouTube is coming up as well, as we saw in that other graph. So basically this is similar information, seeing it in a different way. So we're seeing, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Next slide, please. So now we're going to talk about specifically the COVID effect on social media. And I find this very interesting myself. So let's get right into the slide. So looking at just the year-to-year increases in usage of the different social media. I mean, you can just look at these statistics. Facebook, an increase of over 50% usage. LinkedIn, over 50% increase in engagement. Twitter, 23% increase just in Q1 this year. WhatsApp has increased, that's on the bottom left, has increased 40% in usage. So this is all happening this year in 2020. We'll show you some more statistics. Next slide, please. Okay, so getting into what this means for the CBD world. So we're talking about. So the up top there talks about the consumer staples, how with the COVID, the consumer staples, there's high demand, right? Started out in the pandemic, people, rushing to grocery stores to get toilet paper and paper towels. But believe it or not, looking at the statistics that we have here, CBD oil and CBD products they're trending to something similar to what we call consumer staples. So the good news is that the CBD product market, we are expecting a very big growth. As you see there, growth in 2020, 31%, and beyond those years. So it's good news for people on this call and people in the CBD product market. This is about my favorite slide in this whole deck here. So this is talking about specifically COVID, right? During the first week of the pandemic, you look at the bar graph at the bottom, people spent more time with their family in the gray bar compared to spending time with social media. Now this is during the first week of the pandemic, the blue bar. And then as you go up the scale here, we're week over week, then at the fifth week of the pandemic, people are spending way more time in social media than with their families. So what that says is they're, number one, hopefully they're shopping on social media, but they're also trying to stay connected to people outside their home. And we'll see this trend go. So here's some specific data around Pinterest for the COVID effect. Now I know that Pinterest is, I think, more females proportionately use Pinterest than males do. But looking at this information here, there was a 60% increase in Pinterest searches because after the pandemic. So initially you'll see the green line up top there people looking for information now, keeping the kids busy. What are you going to cook for dinner? How to wear a mask or how to make a mask. But also people are looking on Pinterest and other social media because they're hopeful about, they're anxious about what's in the future, right? They're planning events, they're planning weddings, they're planning vacations. So that's the information that we can glean from the Pinterest data. So here's another graph showing the increase in usage of Facebook. You'll see there 17%, 28% on Twitter, 33% on Instagram, 43% on Snapchat, and then 68% on Pinterest. But overall, there's a 50% increase in traffic on the subreddits, which is the forums that are topics in Reddit, which is another social media. Here's some stats that we have from Snapchat. Snapchat users are streaming 33% more, gaming 25% more, online shopping has increased, as well as food ordering, fast food, people getting deliveries. So there's 20% overall increase day to day. Okay, so here's another graph, line graph showing the behavior around the initial days of the COVID. So on the right there, you'll see the blue line is Facebook activity and the purple line is Instagram activity. Now, if you remember what was in the news, right, on those days, so March 11th was an uptick, and then March 16 was even more of an uptick. So those were the first days that the government was making decisions around COVID and what was happening or what they expected to happen. So it was right around the 15th and 16th and 17th when the lockdowns started across the US. So then you see what these are CBD and cannabis companies that we just went online and pulled some advertisements that they had or information. So specific information addressing the coronavirus. So on the left there, you have a CBD company that's recognizing that people want to stay at home and making them comfortable at home with their products. And then on the right there, you have information on, helping people to keep social distance and how they can still get their products in a safe way. Okay. Now we're going to get into the advertising. So this is talking about the paid ads and specifically Google paid ads, I'm assuming, around the social media and the advertising. So we talk about cost per click by region. So let's look at North America, the graph on the right. The cost per click is the top line. So you'll see an increase in cost per click just before the holidays, and then there's a downturn after the holidays, which is normal. But then there's another downturn right at COVID, where Varun is pointing out March 16th again, that date. So you have a lower cost per click for ads in the beginning of COVID. Now looking at the brands, so I'm going to point everyone to this red line that's right in the middle there. So looking at these, and again, this is about cost per click by industry, and you'll see that same trend. So there's an increase in cost per click around the holidays, just in early December, and then there's a dip around January, just kind of after the holidays. And then there was a slight increase just before COVID when people were, looking to stock up. And then there was a dip right at COVID where people didn't know what was going to happen. Maybe they didn't have money and things, but this is the trend, what happened with the cost per click. So the other thing that I want to say in this slide is that with that dip in the cost per click into the COVID, it shows that the brands could also compete with keyword bidding with other, in like the e-commerce, you see that yellow line. So the dip in the CPC really allows brands to, or allowed brands to compete with, even more generic products that are online. Okay, so similarly, this slide is talking about the cost per mille, or cost per thousand impressions to get people to your site. How much is, okay. So it's the same trend. So looking at the holidays, there's an uptick, and we're looking at the green graph, which is North America, and then a dip right after the holidays. And again, there's a couple little shoulders here, where there's news around COVID, what's going to happen. And then there's a dip down right at the beginning of COVID, where the cost of doing business online actually became cheap, less expensive for a while. And here's same metric, cost per mille, but talking about the brands here again, or the services. So this is that same trend, right, where there's an increase in the cost in the CPM around the holidays, then a decrease, and then it goes into a couple of shoulders right before COVID, and then that dip. So the next slide is an example. This is client. So if you could just back up one slide, Varun. Just, yeah, so looking at the price here. So the price, the cost per mille on the services is between 2 and 3. Right, so let's go to the next slide. And that's around March. Now this is Facebook ads that we just did a couple of weeks ago for a client. You'll see the cost per 1,000 impressions is $3.83 and $3.20. So you'll see that what this says is that the cost went up a little bit from March. So there is more competition happening in the market now in terms of bidding on the keywords and cost per 1,000 impressions. Anything else you want to say about that example, Brian?
So I think Lauren, I think the only thing that we can see over here is that the March saw a great dip, and I think and then we also took the benefit of that by launching more campaigns for our clients, and more emphasis was on social media because of the cheaper cost per clicks and cost per thousand impressions, and that we have done for our clients. This is an example that even though there is a it's been like a more than 6-7 months since we started, even though there is a uh, some competition and cost per mile has gone up a bit, but still there is a lot of opportunity for the brands to take the benefit of the social media and the traffic that they can generate for their website. and that we have seen for our clients as well.
Now I'm going to turn it over to Varun, and he'll go through the emerging social platforms, and also he'll have some more client examples, which are always helpful. Varun?
Thank you, Lauren. So we will talk about the opportunities on the social platforms, and after that, the next slides will talk about the strategies that we can use to capture those opportunities across these channels, and then we'll talk about what is trending now and beyond, and also the areas that can be used to grow. And so we can see like this one is about TikTok. So I think this is a very emerging social platform, and we can see that in the metrics on the right side, like there's a 30% increase in time spent on TikTok, and you can see the graph has grown during the COVID time. In March 2020, we saw that there was a huge uptick by almost 30% on the time spent, and right now, this trend has been seeing an uprise, and now I think there's like almost 40 to 50% increase in time spent. And I think though even though this is I will say assumed as a platform where target audience of 16 to 25 uses this much more, but in case your products are appealing to that audience, and if you are actually uh, appealing to the audience for example like Gen Z or Gen Y kind of target audience, then you should use this platform, and it would be very good for platforms who have e-commerce and probably who want to work with the influencers to get the brand more visibility. Some new platforms we saw that probably I don't know if you would have heard about it, but we can see there's a Lasso. So Lasso is a platform. So like this is a Facebook's version of TikTok. So users can create and share short videos, fun filters and effects, and they can log into to it by using Facebook and Instagram accounts. So I think you can use it. It is not as popular as TikTok now, but it may become a good competitor to TikTok, and I think we should keep an eye on and keep using it to capture the first more advantage over here. There's a new platform called as Vero. Vero is an alternative for the Instagram, and like so we can say like Instagram, there are a lot of ads, a lot of data mining, and a lot of algorithms where they use your data. I think Vero is like without no ads, without any ads, and they have just the content and just the experience that you are looking for. So and I think we should use this because it doesn't have any ads, and it's very authentic platform. So we can create our pages over here, and we can create a very meaningful relationship with the audience, where the objective is not to maybe sell something, but to engage with the audience and to build a good relationship. Then Steemit is a new platform that has been launched, and it's a blockchain-based blogging and social platform where not only you can curate the content, but you can also get rewarded. Like you can get paid if users are upvoting the content of others, and so it's like everybody is getting paid. You are also getting paid if you are upvoting, and the one you are upvoting for is also gets paid, and they are paying through blockchain things. So I think if you want to, so you should use it where if you want to like create an additional channel to share the content and to grow the audience, and also while getting paid for it at the same time. We can see an example of one company that is doing it. They're launching a lot of blogs on their platform, like Kush Smokers, and there's a cannabis brand, and they have like almost 966 followers, and you can see they have launched some of the blogs and posts, and there's a lot of community they have created. So I think you can do it more in a much authentic way because there will be a reward for the users to like and to engage to your content. Then there's caffeine. So caffeine is also social broadcasting platform similar to Twitch. So it was created by ex-Apple designers. So that is mainly focused on gaming, entertainment, and creative arts. So we can create live broadcasts for friends and followers, and viewers are able to interact with you in real time with comments and emoji reactions. So it's like so we have seen that 80% of consumers would rather watch live video from a brand than read a blog. So that's from the research. So I think this is good if you want to do a live broadcasting, and if you want to do that, we use caffeine, and it can generate a lot of attentions and interactions among your users. So let's see what are the strategies to get started on the social media platforms, and what are the different aspects we should look into to build our brand and to generate traction for our brands. So there are four aspects, four stages of a successful social cycle. So the first is social listening, and second is like how can you do social influencing, third is social networking, and fourth is social selling. So social selling is at last. I think the most important part is like listening. So listening is about like how can you monitor and respond to customer service, and this is a platform where not only you can manage to help your customers, but also can do the reputation management for your brand, and address those issues on this Facebook itself or social media itself. Influencing is about like how can you establish the authority on the web, and that would be by distributing and sharing the content, that is valuable content, in terms of educating your customers, in terms of maybe educating customers for the product and brand in that way. Social networking is all about finding and associating with the influential individuals and authorities in this space. Like in cannabis, there are a lot of celebrities, and you can maybe connect with them, and you can actually establish a kind of a relationship with these authorities. And last part of this whole cycle is all selling. So once I think we establish all three steps with the consumers, we can generate leads and sales from the existing customers, and then new prospects on the social web. So we'll go through each and every stage, and then we'll talk about the KPIs that you should track on each stage. So first is social listening. So it's like you should listen to that what topics are being trending, which competitors are doing what, who are the influencers, who are actually popular on this channel, and who are making an impact on your industry, who are the people who are actually uh, getting lot of maybe likes, or maybe who are actually getting popularity, so that we can uh, also do about a kind of a customer research, and we can also do competitive research. So listening is very important, and you can actually set up a lot of KPIs that we'll talk in the next slide, but you can see some examples. For example, brand mentions. So we can see maybe some of the, like for example, Business Insider, it's a kind of a magazine that is doing kind of brand mentions. So if they can do brand mention of your brand, that is a kind of a free PR, and that also gives you a lot of visibility on the social web in that way. So that is very important, and maybe if you are published by these kind of websites, like Business Insider. Topics. So I think you can see like topics, for example, in our industry we are focusing on for example, there's a news from Loud News Net that talks about quick simple guide to the benefits of CBD oil. And topics, so you can see and they're giving hashtag of cannabis and cannabis health and health. So it's like, so this is something is a very popular topic. You can also use similar topics, and you can ask the pages like Loud News Net to maybe give you a kind of a tag on this kind of news, where you can also publish your news on these similar kind of platforms. Then there's a competitors who are actually you can see that what is being said about the competitors, is it positive or negative about them, and maybe how are competitors positioning their messaging, and what the competitors are saying about yourself. So you can see like there's a post by Nicole Quinn as an example. So she's just talking about that how people are in startups dominating the all raised backs today in the largest consumer women in the VC industry, and they have mentioned the name of the startups over here. So maybe if you are also being talked about and you're also being published like that, I think it will be a good free branding for your brand. Then I think it is very important to look at the influencers and people who are leaders in this industry, and also tracking about that what is being said, and is it positive or negative, and then you have to see that what is being talked about in this industry, what are the new things that are being said. So in the corona times you can see by Jeff Ragovan, so he's publishing a news about one of the clients we're working with. So this is a cannabis dispensary client we are working with, and Jeff Rogan was the chief commercial officer, and he's publishing a news about his company, and he's talking about the record revenue levels in the March, and they are talking about how their company is helping the needed medicine uh, for the patients during COVID-19, and how they can help the patients who want to use the medical cannabis through the company that they are publishing from. So this is something they're correlating their services with the COVID-19 and the requirements of their customers, and how can the company help to maybe treat their customers or patients. So these are some of the metrics that you can use for social listening. So the most important thing is like reputation score. So reputation score you can calculate, and that is something, sentiment level. So sentiment is like negative or positive or neutral. So you can always track that sentiment level, and that is something you can always see in the analytics. On the retention rate, are retaining your customers and followers? If not, why? So you can see how many customers are actually liking your page, how many customers are actually commenting on your posts, how many are just sharing the news about yourself. So you can see the retention rate about your users. You can also see the refund rate. It's like there must be some issues, like for example, related to refund. So it's like how can you resolve the issues without having to issue refunds. So that is like issuing like you can say addressing the issues of the customers without maybe doing refunds and anything like that. Then product gaps identified, you can see how many suggestions are given by people, or maybe they are looking for some changes or any kind of feature that they want in the product. You can also see content gaps that are there on your existing content, and we can see like what should we develop in terms of answering the queries of your customers, and to resolve the issues of the customers. So that is a very important metrics for social listening that should be in place and should be tracked on a weekly and monthly basis. There is social influencing. So this is like how can we increase engagement with our brand and the content, and we can influence the customers, and how can we start conversations around the topics that are related to our industry, like for example we saw in the last slide that the benefits of using CBD oil. So how can we go on to such topics, maybe make comments or maybe tag ourselves, or maybe ask the companies to tag us in that way, boost traffic to your site, and that is again one of the things, because people who will be influenced by your content, they would certainly like to go to the website and maybe know more about your brand and maybe buy something maybe from you. And building awareness of the products and offers is something that we can do by establishing an influence among the customers and growing a retargeting list. That is the most important thing, because customers who come to our pages, who go to the website, but probably they may not make a purchase. So you can create a list in Google Analytics of the users who are coming to your website but not making purchase. So you can create a kind of campaign, or we can create an offer and go back to these customers with that offer, to maybe to re-attract them to the website, or maybe invite them to make a purchase again. So metrics to watch would be like for social influencing would be site engagement rate. So we have to see that how many shares and comments are coming. Traffic by channel. We need to see that uh, the channel from the traffic from social media channels is increasing or decreasing over time. And maybe awareness. So maybe it's like awareness of the offers that we are launching. So we need to see that how many people are actually responding to the offers we are making on social media, because we can track in analytics that how many people came to buy the products on the website using that proper offer code. And retargeting list growth. So through retargeting, we can always be get back to the people in front with the new offers, or we can also get to know that what they have seen, what the interest they have, where they're dropped off, and probably we can reach out to them to give an offer for the products they visited on the website but did not buy. So we can see as a case study. So this is a case study about one of the client we're working with, and we can see social network performance, and we can see how we have influenced our customers. So, for example, Yelp has brought maybe around 12,000 users. Maybe almost 67% users are like new users, 11,154 users. And then we can see that how many sessions they have, like 15,000 sessions, very low bounce rate of 15.79%. And we can see that they've spent more than 6 minutes on the website. Conversion rate is almost 8%, and they made 1231 transactions. So almost $135,000 of revenue they have generated. This is the performance only for Corona period, starting from March till September. And you can see the performance of social media channels in that way. Instagram has generated traffic of 16, like revenue of almost like $1,700. Facebook generated revenue almost like $15,000. Twitter generated revenue of $3,000, and LinkedIn generated revenue of $125. So this brand is a cannabis dispensary who is delivering the products to the uh, customers to their doorstep. And uh, and you can see the growth from the social media how they have got. So it gives us visibility on which channels are working, which channels are not working, where should we focus on, where should we offer more offers. So all that something we have done using that analytics. Then the next is social networking through social media. That's the third part of the whole stage, like life cycle of the social interactions on the web. So this is like how can we share content that fills gaps that is maybe on our content, and how can we correlate topics and target people at a different skill levels. So, and we can network with them. Maybe there are baby boomers, there are mid-age, Gen Z, there are Gen X, Gen Y. So different kind of people who would like a different kind of content. So we need to see how can we create different kind of content for each kind of target customer as per our products. And that will not only create a goodwill for, but also it will be it will transform uh, uh, the relationship into a profitable partnership if we create that kind of a networking with the customers. The metrics to watch would be number of inbound links. So it is like when you are sharing, uh, for example, a content on the social pages, then you give a backlink. Maybe they give a link on the post, and then somebody clicks on the link and then goes to the website. It's like you're creating a backlink also to your content, and that is also increasing your SEO authority, and it is giving boost to your keyword ranking. So it helps you to get a lot of organic improvement on the traffic as well as inbound link for your website. So now number and description of earned media mentions. So this is like you can see that when others are using your maybe doing a hashtag or others using your link, then you can see that how many users have come from those mentions, like who they are, where they are coming from, and the value of those mentions in that way. Then number and description of earned study partnerships. So we can see like are we reaching out to the partnerships, prospects, and or are they reaching out to you in that way? So this is all about like you are reaching out to people who are influencers on your space or who are having more authority in the space, or they're reaching out to you because you have valuable content. So we have to see that which metrics is working better, and when somebody you are reaching out to someone or somebody is reaching out to you, then we need to see that how relevant it is for the brands we are interacting with for the business, and what will be the value of the relationship if we establish a kind of a like give and take relationship on the strategic partnership with other brands and other platforms and other maybe channels in the social. The last is social selling. So goals of social selling is like either generating leads to grow your email list. For example, there are a lot of campaigns like Facebook lead campaign that can be used where you can get the email of your customers and maybe include your email list. And then there will be like acquiring new customers and upselling and cross-selling existing customers. That is something again a goal of social selling. And third would be like increasing buyer frequency, turning one-time customers into raving fans. So this is like you can create a lot of goals on your analytics depending on your objective, and we launch campaigns. So there's an example on the right side. We're talking about, so it's like how we grew a blog from zero to $6 million kind of blog. So this is like so it's like how can we create traffic? So they are just talking about the bring traffic from $0 to $6 million. So this is again a kind of example where they are giving a very relevant information and then giving kind of be a call to action where they saying look at blog post ideas, download now, and it's like only at $7. So they are not only selling this content, but they're also maybe getting the maybe email list, and also be getting the kind of traffic that they are looking for. So this is one of the way for social selling that you can do for your brand. But I think mostly if you are not maybe because we are CBD, or maybe we are a hemp or we are a cannabis company, then I think what makes sense for us is to create an email list and acquire new customers, and that can be done using Facebook or maybe a kind of Instagram campaigns where we don't use content that talks about the CBD because there's a lot of limitations on the Facebook ads. For example, Facebook allows the topical ads, but it would not allow the ingestible ads. So using any content would uh, get your ads banned. So we have to see that which kind of platforms are giving which kind of regulation, and we need to use only the content that is approved by those channels. Each channel has different limitations that we can we talk in more detail maybe in some other time. So these are the metrics to watch, like number of leads generated out for your campaigns, and then offer conversion rate, like what is the conversion rate for the offers you are launching, and then buyer recency and frequency. So that is something is also important to watch, like how frequently they buy and how often they do the repeat purchase on our products. So some of the examples we have put over here. So you can see on the left side is like lead generated. So one of the brand we are working with, the objective for them is to increase the leads and create the email list, and we reach out to the customers through the emails. So you can see we have generated almost like 5,000 leads for that customer, and the leads are generated very frequently. They have email IDs, their names, and we have a lead form that captures these leads, and they're integrated with the MailChimp. So whatever lead are generated on the Facebook, it goes directly to the MailChimp account, and then MailChimp has regular email newsletters that are going to them on a very weekly and monthly basis. We offering them discounts and promotions, and then increasing chance for repeat purchase and first time purchase. Then there's on the right side, we are tracking the frequency and recency. So this is again talking about, for example, the first thing is like one, so number of sessions and number of page views. uh, like from the customers who only visited website once, and then the second is like number of sessions and number of page views from customers who have visited our website twice. So as you go down, you will see sessions and pages are decreasing because people who are coming to the website maybe more than once or more than twice and more than thrice are reducing as well. So that is something I think we need to see. Like we need to have maybe more count of sessions, more sessions and more page views. It is more profitable. For example, you see the uh, we can see like 9 to 14 sessions. So we have 100,000, more than 100,000 sessions and more than 800,000 page views. I think that's very, I think, successful kind of and that is very successful kind of a matrix, and that is a very relevant matrix for our business to see. And we can probably retarget those customers via our campaigns and via coupons, where because they will convert more than any other users on the whole website. So that is something is helps us to retarget the customers by seeing that matrix on the Google Analytics. Now we'll see what's trending and beyond. So studies to get you started is like one is like, for example, you can see some of the. There's an example that may not be from the same industry, but this is just because they are being promoted by Business Insider because they have a very interesting kind of a campaign where Taco Bell is having a contest for a lifetime of free food. They're offering a free food during the Corona times, so Business Insider is promoting them, and it is helping them to get a lot of brand awareness in that way. So maybe if we can create some offers like that and do a contest, or we launch them, and if somebody like Business Insider can take that and reshare it, so that maybe you get more of the PR, more of free PR in that way. So it will help us to get existing followers into a community. Maybe we can attract new followers. We can raise brand remembrance, brand recall, and brand visibility, and get the feedback from the audience in that way. So a second thing we have seen is that video content has seen a rise, and I think it is here. And I think the text content or visual content is good to have, but I think video content is something that will take over more of the visual and the text content. So I think we need to remember that we need on social media, videos will play a much bigger role than all the text content in that way. You can use the softwares like Adobe Spark, like Vidyard, or Quick.io to create video content. So there's example that we have done for our clients. So like this is one of the CBD clients that we are working with, and we have created videos for the products like for bath bomb. We created a video that we launched on the social channels, and we have seen a lot of traction, and we also did a kind of a ad using that video content, and we saw a lot of traction and clicks and a lot of sales using that videos. That then we saw something from the text ads. So that is something I think is very important for us to look at. We can also leverage LinkedIn. Maybe sometimes we see that LinkedIn may not be a good platform for maybe B2C custom B2C kind of clients, or maybe B2C kind of businesses, but I think it will play some role in terms of amplifying the engagement for our brands. It's a different platform. It will help us to launch campaigns through like banners, through call to action buttons, and through long form posts. And there are ways you can actually put the banners like that, and be create a name of the button and give a URL. When somebody is clicking on that, maybe you can take users to the website to increase attraction on the website. So now the next level is also, there's a next level of doing things on the socials, like uh, augmented reality for the social media. And one of our client has done augmented reality for the cannabis dispensary they are owning. So users can go to these dispensaries via online channels by just like one click, go inside the dispensary, have a whole experience, select the product, maybe select the product, and they also can buy the product virtually in that way. So creating that kind of experience is also important for ourselves if we can do it at all. I think that is something will help us. Then like being relatable on social media is also setting us apart. So it's like not only talking about the product but also talking about that what does it actually mean in that way, and how does it help you, uh, maybe how does it help the user to experience that product. So that is something we can talk about. We can see that on the right side, one of the client who's working with us, like we can see how they're resembling the overall maybe maybe impact of the product through the pictures in that way. So growth areas and future opportunities for us. So I think the first thing is Facebook Messengers. So creating one-to-one connections and remote chatbot support is something that we can do in the Facebook. I think that is something we can do on the website as well, and we can track it without any kind of extra resource. Answering FAQs, drive to purchase, and finding nearest location. So um, there are options you can create on the Facebook messengers that you can create on the Facebook, and then there's a stories format. So using stories format is important, and that is like vertical or full screen that gives maximum attention, and reusing that story for in different platforms is something that will give you more attention. And premium reserved is like hashtag challenge on TikTok, premium in stream videos, brand takeovers, promoted trends and topics and sponsorships, and tapping into resources like we can create like having creative consultations and design assistance from someone who's an expert would be good in case you don't have that expertise. And video creation tool platforms, maybe that is something is also important. Webinars and newsletters, and paid media campaigns. I think that is something is very important if you can do on the channels that are upcoming. It's very cheap and low cost to do the campaigns in that way, and you can also go to the help to create campaigns, and we can also help in case there is something that is required from from you guys. Then setting up KPIs and analytics. So different stages in social media marketing have different KPIs and different kind of matrices, and maybe finding that matrices, setting those matrices on the Google Analytics and tracking them on weekly basis is also very important, and so that you can track the performance over a period of time.
Mm,
So let's get into Q&A.
absolutely. There's 7 questions. Varun.
Okay, so I think we have one question from the website Webby, and that is, what's the most effective social selling platform? So I think right now most effective social selling platform is Facebook, as per experience that we have seen, and Facebook has very low cost per click and very low cost per thousand impressions, and when we run these campaigns and for a period of time, for example you are running this campaign, awareness campaign for 2 weeks, and then creating a retargeting campaign uh, to retarget the users who haven't made a purchase, and I think it converts more than any other campaign on social platforms. Trying that would be much effective that we have seen from our clients. So what are the questions, Lauren? Can you see that?
Yeah, so from Matthew Pitts, how can you run a CBD ad on Facebook? It's my own understanding that CBD ads are banned from Facebook ads.
So yeah, as I talked about, like CBD topical ads are allowed by Facebook, and if you are mentioning hemp on your ads, and if they are only topicals, Facebook will allow those ads. But while running the ads, I think you should refrain from mentioning CBD on the ad copies and on the landing pages. If you don't do that, you'll get an approval, and once you get the approval, you can probably introduce the CBD topical products if you have in the ads, and promote them using that. But using CBD and cannabis initially on the ads and Facebook landing pages would disapprove your ads. So just refrain from that, and I think you'll be good to go, I think.
Hmm. Yeah, another person asked the same question, anonymous. How are you able to get sponsored posts on Facebook with the CBD and the copy? So you just answered that. Another question from Jordan. Can we use COVID-19 related content in ads on Facebook?
No, not at all. So, I mean, using COVID-19 related content to promote your products is strictly prohibited by not only by social media channels like Facebook and Instagram, but also by Google, uh, or all the other channels as well, like Bing or Yahoo. So we can't use COVID-19 content to promote, and maybe if you want to do the organic postings, the way I explained in the last slide, where uh, one of the chief, I think, commercial officer of the company posted something about the company that we have seen record revenue levels in the month of March, and we are helping our patients to get the medical cannabis during the COVID-19 time. So he used the hashtag COVID-19, but it was relevant as an organic post. So I think doing something like that would be advisable, but not using that on the paid ads and paid campaigns.
So Jordan also asked, which are the top social KPIs you consider while analyzing performance of a new brand launch campaign?
I think the most important is the reach and engagement.
Mhm.
And I think initially, if you look at that, what is the reach, overall reach and engagement with your ads, and at what cost it comes, and what is the conversion rate on that. So that is very important. So keep a track of all these four things: reach, engagement, the cost per click, and also the conversion rate. How many people are going to the website making a purchase, or the goal that you have. Goal might be either getting a purchase or generating a lead or getting a sign up, like creating an email list. So depending on the goal, you need to see that what is the cost per acquisition for the goal that you have, and it should be tracked weekly on a weekly basis to get the um, maybe I will say most effective return from the ad spend.
Another question here. I'm new to the CBD industry and want to promote my business. Which social media paid campaign will help me to generate more traffic to my website?
I think there should be maybe a brand awareness campaign that should be done on Facebook, where if you are so we don't know much about your brand, maybe we can do more analysis and suggest you. But on a prima facie, I think if you are a CBD ingestible product, then you can't actually run the ads on Facebook or use and maybe promoting those products. But you are, if you are a CBD topical, then probably you can create the campaigns. But I think initially you can do a campaign without even mentioning CBD or any product. You just talk about the maybe unique selling propositions. You can talk about how you are different from the competition. You can talk about the maybe effects that it can bring, or maybe kind of lifestyle that that product can change, and maybe then promote it, and maybe give a landing page to your website while creating those ads. So when somebody clicks on the ad, they will go to the website and they probably will look into your products, and then probably you can do the retargeting campaign after a month, uh, and it will be helpful to create the sales for your company.
I think we have time for one more question. How much monthly budget should I invest to generate sales from Facebook?
So I think this is something again subject to your goals. So like how much sales you want to generate, and how much profit you want to generate. Maybe and we need to analyze your more like how much is the margin, how much is the cost for your development of the product. But I think on a generic basis, I think having a $2,000 of budget on Facebook initially maybe is good. And because there's a maybe if you have $1 to $2 of cost per click, and so probably you will generate maybe 2,000 clicks on a $2,000 of budget, and having 2,000 clicks on your ad, and maybe having a conversion rate of maybe 5%, would give you almost like 100 sales. And having 100 sales, and maybe if your average order value is like $100, then maybe you'll make maybe $10,000. So maybe spending $2,000 to get $10,000 is not a bad return on ad spend. So I think having that initially would be a good idea.
Okay. I think that's all we have time for. So it's one same question. How to prevent the CBD Facebook ad from getting disapproved.
Yeah, so we can talk about that more. Maybe in one to one, you can reach out to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are like our coordinates. So there are our email IDs. There are our LinkedIn's. Maybe, and we also have a free consultation form on our website. So if you want to learn more and if you want to talk more, maybe you can go there as well. And we can really talk more in detail, like how can you prevent your ads from getting disapproved, and how can you generate more sales on that. So looking forward to talk to you and be helping you more on this.